So I'm back and I'm finally ready to talk about my opinions on the election, the outcome of the election. And this video is going to be very unpopular. Trigger warning. If you are going to be easily triggered by the content in this video, I'm going to ask you to disconnect. I'll catch you in my next video. But I wanted to give my opinion because people have been asking me, and I've been avoiding giving my opinion because it is unpopular. I have to be honest with you. I didn't expect anything from this election. We live in a world that is unfair. And I'm going to say it. The reason why Black women keep losing, and the reason why when situations like this happen, we feel like we lost or we are defeated is because you're trying to play fair and people are not playing fair with you. You're trying to be fair and people are not being fair to you. You are trying to play a game, and yes, I do mean a game, in a system that is unfair. Everything around you is unfair, and you're still trying to be fair. And I think that's what's so frustrating when it comes to the reactions I'm seeing publicly from Black women, and in some cases, a little embarrassed, because it goes to show that Black women don't know how to compete. And we don't know how to compete because we're so focused on trying to be fair that we're not competing. We're not showing up to compete because we're so busy on trying to create equality, trying to create fairness, trying to be fair to others. And you haven't really awakened to the fact that this system and everything in it and everyone that chooses to play the game. And this is the thing. Even if you choose to play the game in the Matrix, it's really not a choice, because once you're born here, the only thing you could do is be stagnant in life if you choose not to play, or not be stagnant in life and play the game. But everyone's playing the game though. And see, this is why, like, people don't understand why I support content creators like Share7, Cynthia G, is because they're teaching you that this is how you play the game in an unfair world. And their advice is on the extreme side. But the reason why it's extreme is because they understand that nothing is fair in the game. And so because nothing is fair in the game, what rules do you even go by if nothing is fair in the game? And is the only reason I can honestly say Black women is at a lower level is simply because we're not competing. And we're not competing because we're so focused on being fair and being fair to others and expecting people to be fair back to us. But it's quite delusional. And so when I went into this election, I didn't have expectations. I did not get my hopes up. When I saw Kamala, I was not excited. I wasn't excited because I knew better. Historically, non-Black women have always chosen their alliance with their men. And the reason is because they will never go against their culture. It's not just the man, it's the culture that they don't want to go against. And as Black women, we have this weird relationship with our culture, and how we feel like we love our culture, but in ways we don't think our culture benefits us. But what you have to understand is, for non-Black women, their culture benefits them. And you can have your opinions about your own culture, whether you think it's good, bad, or indifferent, but you have to understand that other cultures don't really have that tug of war. Other cultures are pretty set in stone, like, no, this is my culture. I love my culture. I love my people, and I will never go against that. And a lot of people feel like voting Democrat is Black culture. And I don't think you actually hear what I'm saying. They didn't vote according to they didn't vote according to politics. They voted according to culture. They voted according to what was an alliance with the men in their culture. And it's not, and see, when I said that non-Black women chose their men, a lot of you jumped to the conclusion of they chose their husbands. No. I am pretty sure that even Caucasian lesbian women voted for Trump simply because they have an alliance with white males, even though they don't date them, they don't sleep with them, or anything like that. And so, because they have that alliance, and why is the alliance there? Why? And I have to ask Black women this particularly, and this is why I'm not mad at the players. I'm frustrated at the game. The reason why white women didn't pick you, in a sense, isn't because they're 100% against you. It's just that they're more for themselves. They voted for themselves. They didn't vote for you. And Black women, for you to compete back, you have to have you have to have the same mindset, and you don't. And it kind of reminds me of Bridgerton and Lady Danbury, and how she was speaking with the Queen. And when the Queen was speaking with her, and they had this whole competition back and forth, strategist against another strategist, and trying to beat one another at the game, right? And so when Lady Danbury kind of showed an emotional, or had an emotional moment in front of the Queen instantly got mad, because the Queen was taking a liking to her because of how she was competing back with her or towards her. But when the Queen saw an ounce of emotion, the Queen didn't want to feel an ounce of sympathy, even though she was taking a liking to her, because that's not part of the game. The game is not to have sympathy. The game is not to have empathy. And that's why in that scene, and this is why I say historically, right, when it comes to women in this system, in the game, sympathy and empathy and fairness is not part of the game. And so when women went to the polls on election day, they were worried only about themselves. They weren't worried about anyone but themselves. And they were so worried about themselves that they made sure that they voted in a way that kept them in an alliance with their male counterparts, whether they choose to date them or not. They kept that alliance because it benefited them. It benefited them because of the privilege that comes with that. And Black women, you have to understand that other women's marginalized issues will never be greater than their privilege. So you're asking for non-Black women to give their privilege, like throw it in the trash, for them to just get rid of that and everything that comes with it. Because let's really think about the privilege that comes with being a white woman, right? We can use the example of Karen, but it doesn't even have to be negative like that. It could just be like a woman just being able to go into stores and be catered to, or whatever room she steps in, she's catered to. you're not really thinking about the depths of the privilege that those women carry. It's not comparable to their marginalized issues. You are projecting your marginalized issues on women who have a privilege that you don't have. And then you're doing it in a system that does not play fair. And that's what's frustrating me about this whole ordeal. I'm not mad at women for choosing themselves. I'm more disappointed in how we don't know how to do the same. I'm more frustrated in how Black women don't know how to do that for themselves. And I was really thinking lately, because I did a reading on my Patreon, and one of the things that was revealed to me was Black women always have this need to feel needed. You don't know how to be catered to. You don't know how to be taken care of. You don't know how to sit back and let someone else take over. If you do, if you allow it, you still somehow feel the need to be needed in the situation. You can't just sit back and relax and just allow others to take care of you. You always feel the need to be needed in every scenario and situation. You don't know how to just rest and just allow things to just unfold and happen in the way that it was meant to be. We always feel the need to be in the middle, in the mix, and we need to feel needed in order for us to feel worthy. We need to be in the mix and feel needed in order for us to be supported or to feel supported. And what the election showed was that is hurting us. It's burning us. It has us in a position where we feel defeated. And it's at a point, in my opinion, it's at a point where it's our own doing. This, I feel defeated. It's our own doing. It kind of reminds me of when I was going through my own personal healing journey, and I finally realized that I would get upset or I would feel resentment when I would show up for others, but they didn't show up for me. And I had to start asking myself those hard questions. Did they ask? Did they ask? Did I do too much? Was that really needed? Was that really necessary? Did I have to volunteer? Did I have to give my time? And each time I came back and the answer was no. The answer was no. And even those times where I was asked, why didn't I say no? Why didn't I say no? You are being spiritually called to heal this. You are being spiritually called to break this cycle. You are being called to rest. You are being called to take care of yourself. You are being called to preserve your energy and pour into yourself. The fight is you taking back your energy and pouring it into yourself. When I asked in my YouTube video, what is the fight? What is the fight? What's the fight? Like, what are we fighting for now after the election? Like, what is the new fight? And you know what I wanted to hear? You know what I wanted to see? I wanted to see women say, well, my new fight is me. My new fight is focusing on me. My new fight is taking care of me. My new fight is pouring into me. My new fight is catering to me and doing what I need to do for me. That's the new fight. The new fight is me, myself, and I. The new fight is me just only focused on me. That's what I wanted to hear and see. And it's really sad that with me having these views, I get accused of voting for a man that I don't trust. And when I don't trust someone, I don't believe anything that they say. I am a blogger that teaches women discernment. I'm a blogger that teaches women to seek out men who have integrity. Why would that change when it comes to politics? Why Why would that alter when it comes to politics? If I teach women to use their discernment, and I teach women to look at patterns and observe a person from a psychological standpoint to really see if they are who they say they are, what has Trump shown you particularly that gives you the idea that you can trust him? Because everyone focuses on his policies and that's it. But what has he shown you characteristic wise that gives you a reason to trust him? Because these are the same questions that I ask when it comes to my dating videos, or when I talk about seeing through the manipulation and seeing through the mind games and seeing through the love bombing and seeing through all the bullshit. What makes you think that I wouldn't be able to read someone like Trump? Why would you think that and this doesn't have anything to do with his policies. This has everything to do with him and him showing up to be who he claims to be. He hasn't given me a reason to trust him. It's not even about the policies. It's about, can you trust him though? The answer is no. So it would be better for you to accuse me of not voting than for you to accuse me of voting for that man, because that is very delusional. It is very, 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 it is so delusional. And it's just really delusional. Another thing that frustrates me is, a lot of people have an issue with Share Seven's point of view. But the reason why I support it is because she's teaching you how to survive in a system that's not fair. And the more fair you try to play the game, the more you get burned. And the reason why she teaches you to play the game in the way that she's teaching you is because, well, that's the only way you'll get something out of this whole experience. And I understand that. I have a different approach. My approach is through manifesting and spirituality. And a lot of you call that witchcraft. So because you call it witchcraft, I keep what I know to myself, because for me to be understood, I'm okay with that. But if I'm using something to my advantage, I'm doing something to my advantage and it's working for me, and it's working for me in a system that I know is not being fair to me and it's never going to be fair, and the people and the players in the game are not going to be fair towards me, I'm going to continue doing that. But I'm not going to sit here and think that a political party is going to save me. And I'm not waiting on Jesus to come back either. I'm choosing to save myself, and I'm taking what is working for me, and I'm running with that. I'm running with that, and I'm not really concerned about anyone outside of what I got going on for myself. And that may sound selfish. And if you think that I'm selfish now, I'm definitely, that the selfishness is about to go up. It's about to go up, because me being selfish like this, it protects my peace, and it protects my happiness, and it protects my sanity and my mental health. Midway through the political campaigns that were going on, I told my family that I'm removing myself from the family group chat because this isn't good for my mental health. Seeing people sit up and watch the news and allow the news to get in their head to fearmonger them and then spread that energy to the family group chat was just not good for my mental health. So I decided to set a boundary and disconnect from the family group chat, because I'm not here to change people. If you want to talk about politics and you want to watch the news and allow the news to fearmonger you into being unstable and worried and stressed constantly, and then you want to feed that back to me, I will disconnect. I will remove myself. And some would say, well, that's selfish. And I don't mind being seen as selfish. I don't mind being seen as selfish, a bitch, a witch, fake. I don't know what else, a weirdo, a hoe, a prostitute, a gold digger, crazy, something has to be wrong with her. I don't mind being misunderstood. I don't. I am just more frustrated with Black women still not getting it. And it, like I said, it really comes down to, you want to be fair. You're all about fairness, fairness, fairness. And no one is being fair to you. The world is not fair to you. The system is not fair to you. And the people in it are not fair to you. You are in the matrix. I call it a game because it feels like it. And I'm done taking losses. I'm done taking losses. And I haven't taken a loss recently. Even with the election going the way that it went, I still didn't take a loss because the focus is self. The focus has been self. And I've just been focused on me. And I'm winning. And I'm happy. And that's all that matters. All this other stuff, I'm going to leave that up to God. I'm going to leave that up to God. I'm going to mind my business when it comes to all that other stuff. God going to work that out. But for me, I'm going to be focused on everything that I desire and making sure that my needs are being met. Another thing that a lot of women are in fantasy land about is some of you are not ready to make those hard choices. And I'm a woman that has already made those hard choices. When the Roe versus Wade situation happened, I decided that I no longer wanted to participate in casual sex. The reason why I have the mindset that I have when it comes to the whole no fault divorce thing is because getting married is not a dire need for me. Getting married is not something that I have to be in. Getting married and having kids is not my end all be all. It's something that if it happens, cool, but I won't be a fool about it. Getting married is not something that has to happen for me. I'm not afraid to make those hard choices. I'm not afraid to make those choices that require discipline. I'm not afraid to make those choices that require accountability. I'm not afraid to make those hard choices that require me to change. I'm not afraid to make those hard choices and decisions that require me to show up differently. I'm not afraid to make those hard choices. And part of the reason is I've hit rock bottom. I know what it's like to be in a very dark place. I know what it's like to be in a space where you don't know how you're going to come up from that. You don't know how, like, you don't even see the other side of your life because it's just filled with so much darkness. Because I've had that experience, I don't fear what is to come. I don't fear what's next. I don't fear what I don't know. I just trust where I'm at. And I trust myself. I trust myself so much that I know I can bring myself out of anything. My confidence starts here. It's not hair. It's not makeup. It's not how I look. It starts with I've been at rock bottom and I know how to pull myself out of that. And because I know how to do that, what is there to be insecure about? If I don't know something, I'll figure it out. If I'm lost, I'll find myself. If I fall off, I know how to get back up. If I lose something, I know how to gain it back. So what is there to fear? Nothing. Nothing, nothing. Nothing is to fear. There's only things to gain. There's only things to gain. And I plan to continue to gain and gain and gain. And I'm no longer looking to play fair. I no longer care to be fair. I no longer want to present myself as someone who is just fair. I want to focus on myself and I want to focus on other things. And I've been preparing you all for this day. I told you that a divide was coming among women the accountable and the unaccountable. It's already happening. I told you that when it came down to this election, it wasn't going to be based on us as Black women. It was going to be based on others. And now you know the truth. Now you know how you need to show up. And you need to start competing, because people have been competing with you. And they have been playing the game better because, first of all, you trust them. You trust them. You believe them. You believe in them. You believe in their causes. You believe in the things that they say. You believe them. But they're not on your team, and they never were. They never were. So, like I said, non-Black women, they voted for themselves. They didn't vote for anyone but themselves. A lot of people are focusing on the election being about women's reproductive rights, but that's more at the state level. A lot of women voted for other policies like the economy, the immigrant issue, the illegal immigrant issue here in America. They voted for other policies. It wasn't for reproductive rights. That's at the state level. And I keep telling you that because I'm in the South. And so my reproductive rights have been an issue since the Roe versus Wade overturn. So the election wasn't going to determine if I got reproductive rights or not. That's going to be decided at the state level. So I wasn't confused on that. I just wish things were different. I want to see Black women win. Also, I'm seeing this hate train that's starting up by Black women regarding Nara Smith because her husband was found reposting Donald Trump post. And I have to laugh at that. I have to. And the reason is because you really thought a trad wife conservative who promotes the trad wife conservative aesthetic online would vote for Kamala? Not a woman that promotes the homemaker, stay-at-home wife aesthetic. And also, you also have to understand that the game is played as simple as this. When you are in a marriage and you marry a man who's on top in society, you're going to side with your husband. And the reason you're going to side with your husband is because, well, he's in the winning seat. And when I mean the winning seat, when you look at the hierarchy based off race, Nara Smith's husband is in the winning position. So of course, her husband is going to vote a certain way. That should be common sense. And the same for other races of women. It's common sense. They're not going to go against their culture. If you go and you actually talk to non-Black women outside of Black culture, you will see how they are very strong-minded within their culture and their belief system. Yes, they have issues with men. All women have issues with men. I just got done reading the book Women Who Run with Wolves. I can't even talk. Women Who Run with Wolves, right? And all women have issues with men. Sexism, misogyny, it's all mixed in there. It just looks differently for us all. It shows up differently culturally as well. But all women deal with that. But they still have a more stronger connection to their culture, their families, their children than they do anything. And to think that women were going to turn away from their communities and their culture so easily, it was you projecting the broken culture that you are coming from, where the men are not leading in it, but in their community and their culture, the men lead it. And lead it in a way to where women do benefit to a degree. Unfortunately for you, the men in your community are not leading in a way to where you're truly, truly benefiting in the ways that other women are benefiting. And so it just, to me, how do I say this nicely? To me, I just felt like it was irrational to think that they would turn from their culture, or they would turn from their communities. Um, because even you, someone who has been giving to a community, has been nurturing a community, and you still don't get respect, even you are still somewhat committed to your community. So to think, and you have it worse than anyone. So to think that they would turn from their community and culture, I just felt like it was irrational. And so, me personally, like, I'm just in a space where I just want to do me. And Shara, like I said, she's teaching you how to play the game in an unfair world where people are unfair to you. And it's crazy because Cher also was getting dragged, and I did a video about this not that long ago, where she was being dragged because she refused to boycott Starbucks. And I even saw Black women turn on her. I saw, her fan base turn on her, like non-Black women fan base. And she was telling you then the game. Like, she was showing you like, no, that's not it. Because her objective isn't to fall for the games that other women want you to fall for. She plays the game better than that. And Shara 7 is teaching you how to play the game better. She really is. She's teaching you how to survive in this shit. And you can take her advice or you don't have to. I take some of it, and the other stuff that doesn't really resonate with me, I don't take it. But I understand her mindset. I understand her perspective. So when she decided not to get involved with the Starbucks boycott, I understood exactly why. Because she's a Black woman in this system. She passes as a Black woman because some people are saying, well, she's mixed, she's biracial, whatever the case may be. She's showing you how to play the game in the system. And she doesn't believe in getting involved in politics or anything that has to do with activism because it doesn't benefit her. And Shara is only out to gain her own personal benefit. And Black women, that's the part of Shara's advice that you need to take. That's the part regarding Shara that you could embody for yourself and put yourself automatically in a better position. And that's why I support Cher's message, because I understand the game. And because I understand the game, I didn't get mad regarding the election. I'm not even mad at how women decided to vote. I'm not mad that other women decided to choose their culture. I'm not mad at them for that. I'm not mad that they decided to choose their families. They decided to stick with their belief system and their community. I'm not mad at women who chose that. I'm more just frustrated that Black women still don't get it. Black women are still not showing up to compete. That's what I'm frustrated about. I just, yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Like, this is my view on the election. I'm just hoping that Black women eventually wake up. And I hope you start competing and stop focusing so much on fairness and equality and this and that. And it's time for you to level up. So I hope you're ready. I hope you spend the next 4 years leveling up. That's what I hope. You have so much work to get to, and planning and strategy. And I would really tap out of this whole debating with people online and doing all of this back and forth stuff. I really feel like you should take Share Seven's approach and focus on yourself, and just be more focused on you and less on everyone else. And I think I don't think I know that is the spiritual lesson in all of this. And I just hope Black women wake up and see that that's what you're being guided to do. And on that note, I'm logging out.